I've always been passionate about color. Even before working in design, I could tell they were extremely powerful. Colors set the tone, reinforce messages, and in UI design, they also strain in the brand identity and ensure accessibility. But the thing is that working with colors is not easy. Actually, it can be really hard. As designers, we can spend hours tweaking the palette. In this video, I'll walk you through my process for creating a color system for UI design projects and share the tools that I use to help me out. Let's get started. So when it's time for me to create the color system for a new UI project, there are 3 foundations of color I think during the first stage. Think of these foundations as categories of colors that you're going to have across your color system. These foundations guide me to know what type of colors I'll be needing. After all, a color palette or a color system doesn't need all the colors under the sun. The first foundation is the brand colors. Usually I use the brand colors as accent colors, which are the ones that I use to highlight or to draw attention to a key element on the user interface. The second category of colors that we're going to have are the statuses. So across the product, based on the user's interaction, they're going to receive some responses. Let's say the user wants to create their account, they want to submit a request, or if there is a latest version of the product that they should upgrade to. This feedback is going to help the user understand if they were able to successfully complete the action that they were trying to do or not. And also if there is something new in the platform that they need to pay attention to. The type of statuses that a product is going to have, it really depends on the context. But for us to start, we're going to consider 3 main ones: success, error, and alert. And lastly, our third foundation is the grays. They're used as surface colors, borders, shadows, and text. So now that we know the different types of colors that we are going to need to start our project, you're going to follow this framework that I created to help you out. I call it Color GPT. Each letter of the GPT represents an action that we're going to do, a phase of creating our color system. So the G stands for generate the palettes. So for that, I open Figma and I run the Super Palette plugin. It's an awesome asset to help you out during this process. This plugin is paid, but they have a 7-day free trial for you to try it out. So in this example, I'll be starting with my brand colors that you see here on my channel. So I'm going to go ahead and generate a palette for each one of those brand colors that I already have. Once done with the brand colors, I'll focus on the statuses. So I'll be introducing new colors: green for success, red for air, and a tone of yellow for alert. Lastly, I'll go ahead and create my palette of gray. As you can see, the palettes that I generated, they have 14 tones. But don't worry, we're not going to be using all of those. We're going to go to the next stage. The P stands for pick the colors. So the approach that I use here, I learned from Molly from UI Prep. I took her bootcamp on design system, and she has an amazing module on colors. She uses the guideline from Spectrum, which is Adobe's color system. And this is what we're going to be doing here. If you go to the Figma community, and I'll be leaving the link to that in the description, you're going to find a free version of Molly's UI Prep design system, which has a dedicated page on colors. Using the guidelines provided by Adobe, she made those very helpful labels. So at this stage, we're going to identify the use cases of each one of our colors, and we're going to drag those columns there. So if we counted all the tones on all the palettes, you're going to notice that we had almost 100 colors. And by picking just the ones that we are going to use, that made the process so much helpful because we reduced the amount of colors that the designers are going to use. Now, the third stage on our framework is test the colors, because it's not only about generating the palette, picking the ones, and then go from there and start designing. We need to make sure that those colors, they're following accessibility standards. For that, we're going to use a plugin called Contrast, which helps you identify if those colors, when compared to the color of the background, if they're meeting the accessibility standards. You can use Contrast, Stark, or any other plugin that allows you to do that. But don't skip this stage. You have to test the colors. Once you're sure that the colors are accessible, then it's time for you to create your color variables and also your color styles. And with that, your color system is going to be ready to be used. If you want an specific video of me explaining the differences between variables and styles, and also setting up those two things on Figma, let me know so I can prepare that video for you. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope that you have enjoyed and that you feel inspired to choose colors for your UI projects. In the description, I left some really cool resources for you to dive deeper into the world of color. And as you seem to like UI design, I believe you're gonna find this video here helpful, where I mention 3 UI mistakes that you don't want to make. I'll see you there. Happy designing, and this time with colors.